Welcome to Watches and Wine. I'm Paul.
And I'm Michael. And today we're continuing our journey in how to order wine like old money series. Basically, the series is kind of like how do you order wine, not by like the most expensive wine on the menu or the most expensive wine in the wine shop, but you're ordering it by region, by grape, and by vintage. And so if you have this knowledge, I think it's super helpful in kind of picking a good wine. Do you know, like Amarone, is it a style, is it a region, or is it a grape?
Yes. I don't actually know.
No, so it's a style of wine actually. So today we're going to the region of Amarone.
Okay.
So this is a wine from northern Italy, and the area is called Valpolicella.
Valpolicella.
Yeah, so it's called Amarone della Valpolicella.
Is it all Amarone made in northern Italy, or it can be made anywhere in Italy? It's just a style of wine.
just in northern Italy. Like there are some. We'll get into like how it's made, but there's some wineries that do it kind of similar, but it's just like champagne. You can only get it in like that. You can only get it made in that specific region. Yeah.
Okay.
So Amarone actually, the Italian word means big bitter. So
Big bitter.
Big bitter.
Big bitter.
Big bitter.
Okay.
So it's basically there's lots of tannin, so it like sucks your mouth dry, and that's like a hallmark of it. It's also like really complex and tends to be like really big, bold, and lush.
Okay. Can you compare it to like a Cabernet or Syrah or anything, or it's its own unique category?
I think it's its own unique category.
Okay.
So I went to Italy several years ago, and I was in a restaurant and was like looking at the wine menu, and the guy came over and I was like between an Amarone and another wine. And he's like, no, Amarone, it's in another planet. It's like, so it's like its own thing.
Okay.
So the grape is actually a Corvina grape. The region is called Veneto, region of northern Italy. So the way that they make these is basically they take the grapes and then they harvest them and then they let them dry, kind of like raisins. Mm-hmm. So now they're raisiny, and then they turn it into wine. Okay. So there's a reason why these wines tend to be a lot more expensive than most wines. One, you're using a lot more grapes because they're raisins. There's a lot more like variable for error. Okay. So a lot of care to make these, and that's why they have like the higher price point.
Now you mentioned, you mentioned raisins. So does that you get more sweetness? Because it says bitter. What was it? Bitter. What does it mean?
Big bitter. Big bitter. Yeah.
But does it also, because you're getting it from a drier grape?
So do the
sugars concentrate more?
That is an excellent point. So one, you start with a higher sugar content. So the alcohol level of Amarones tend to be pretty high, like 15 plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you drink too much, it can knock you off your feet more than a regular wine would, which usually tends to be like around between like 11 and 13. Okay. So in terms of flavor profile, it's a wine that's characterized by it smelling sweet, right? It smells raisiny and sweet, but it's super dry. So that's like its hallmark. You think it's gonna be sweet, but it tastes very dry. Okay. So you may be asking why do we have two Amarones? So this is a traditional Amarone del Valpolicella, and then this one is called Valpolicella Ripasso. So that is an adjacent style of Amarone winemaking. Basically, the skins that Amarone use to make their wines are then introduced into a wine that's already been fermenting in a similar style. So it's like you basically take a wine that's like in its grape style, and then you add those raisin skins. Okay. So basically, it kind of can give off the impression of an Amarone. That's why they call it like a baby Amarone or little Amarone. Okay. That price point is much different. Okay. So this wine was $50. Okay.
And is Amarone going to range in kind of that $50 mark, or can you get it cheaper?
I mean, you can get I don't like usually no cheaper than like 25 to 30. That's like basement. And then you can go hundreds of dollars.
Okay.
So like a really great Amarone usually is going to be in the $100 price category, but you can get it like 40s, 50s, 60s.
Okay.
You'll typically see like 80s, 90s, 100s in the wine store. Yeah. But there's a reason why I wanted to choose this one specifically. It was $50, and it was basically in the region. It's exactly the style that we want, and it's a 2018, which is a banner year for Amarone.
2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2018 is a banner year, and we'll list all of the banner years with asterisks, and then all of the good years as well. There's a couple of bad years of Amarone.
Which years should you stay away from?
So these are just, and again, it's a generalization, but typical poor years are 05, 07, and 14. Was a really bad year for Amarone in general.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one's 2018, which is a banner year. The Ripasso, this one is a 2016, which also is a great year for Amarone. Can you guess how much this one is?
If it's not Amarone, my guess it's 30.
So this is actually between $18 and $19.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there baseline characteristics that someone should be looking for when we're talking Amarone?
So it's layered, complex, very tannic, tends to be dry. It goes really great with heavy foods, so like braised meats, cheeses, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're really powerful wines.
All right, let's start with the Amarone then and get a baseline.
Let's do it, yeah. The other nice thing about Amarones is they tend to be really age-worthy. What
does that mean, age-worthy?
Age-worthy is like, so you have like the 2018, and you can keep it, and it will continue to. So what happens with the aging process is the tannins soften and get smoother, so it will get smoother over time, and then it'll be less tannic. Yeah. Okay. That's why 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I don't think there's a lot of data on like the great years for those because they're still so young.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's give a try.
Which one?
So the one in your forefront, yeah, it's the Amarone. Okay. So the other thing is because these wines are so big, they usually need a while to open up.
Is there a certain amount of time a person should wait? 20, 30 minutes, or
I mean, like if you want to be safe, an hour is a good ballpark.
Okay.
Depending on the vintage year too. But 2018, I think, I would give it an hour probably.
Okay. So what are the standout years
So standout years, so exceptional years are 09, 16, and 18.
Okay. It's kind of very ethanol-y, and maybe because of the high proof, I get ethanol.
Yeah, and I think that's also why it needs to open up, because right off the bat, all you're smelling is alcohol.
Yeah. Aside from the alcohol, I also get like a big, bold cherry note.
I'm getting a chocolate covered cherry and maybe a hint of raisin coming out right now.
Okay, I can see chocolate as well. I don't get any raisin.
Well, you wanna smell the other one too? Just,
and compare.
Yeah, Ripasso.
This is a Ripasso. So it's similar. It's like a baby Amarone, right?
Right. Grapes have already been fermented in the traditional style of wine, and then for secondary fermentation, they're adding those used skins.
Okay. This is much milder on the nose as far as ethanol is concerned.
Right.
And it smells very sweet and almost, I get cotton candy.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be like a little bit lower alcohol content because you're not starting out with dried grapes. Yeah.
You don't have as much sugar to turn into alcohol. I also get a little cherry as well on this. It's like it's almost like a cotton candy grape.
Well, let's give it a try.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's like kind of meaty. It's like very, not in the term of taste of meat, but it's very heavy on the palate is how I can describe it.
Yeah, for sure. It coats the tongue.
Yeah.
And it's like very lush, very, very bold.
Dark cherry. Dark chocolate. Leather.
It's like pulling teeth.
And then you get raisins to go along with it.
Okay.
Like
so
a raisin sweetness. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I don't think there's an actual sweetness there. Like I think your mind tricks you because you're tasting like this raisiny note, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's not sweet.
It's not sweet. It's not a sweet wine.
Yeah.
It's not a sweet wine,
but it has that essence to it that like you taste that it could be sweet.
Yeah, correct.
Which is really cool. Very, very bold, very lush across the whole mouth, tannic, but in a good way.
And it's not a bitterness that like you don't want to go back for more. You kind of get a little acclimated to the bitterness, and you don't mind continuing to drink it.
Yeah, but you can tell there's a depth of flavor here that is unique to it that you tend not to get with any other style of wine.
I don't know if it's just me, but I get like almost not mineral, but like earthy note to it a little bit, and it could be just because it's so heavy on the palate.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. That region is also known for their terroir, the soil.
Oh, okay.
So
I taste it. Yeah, that dirt tastes good.
And that's why there are other regions that use this style, but it doesn't taste like an Amarone because of the terroir is not there. It's not the same. Okay. So that's why this region is like, that's their thing.
Okay, very cool.
I love it.
It's good. Oh, we didn't. Do we rate?
We can rate. Yeah, this really did change. A lot to me.
To you?
In taste.
Yeah, definitely on the palate.
On the palate, a lot. Yeah. Maybe not on the nose, but on the palate it did.
And then we'll try the ripasso.
Yeah, let's try it. I'm not sure that's
sweeter.
Yeah, think so.
It's not sweet. Again, it's the essence of sweetness. This actually has more of a raisiny quality to it.
Okay.
On the palate, and it could be that sweetness.
Yeah.
Almost like the only way I can describe it is like it reminds me of a cotton candy grape. If you've ever had one of those, because you have that sweetness to it, and it's almost like a sugary sweetness.
Yeah.
But this is not sweet by any measure on the palate. But the flavor I get is similar to that of a cotton candy grape flavor.
I think she's a thief. She stole the raisins. It's a beautiful wine, but
this is good.
It's a lot on the lighter side. So if you were to say that, though, this is a baby Amarone or a little Amarone,
you can see it.
You can
definitely see it, but it's not an Amarone as far as body or structure of the wine.
Yeah, like this because it's lighter body, you could pair with other foods that are not just heavy foods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, obviously you can pair anything you want with anything. But this, I just think it's definitely on like the medium. Okay. Medium body style.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you think that this wine is $18?
No. I'd still think this was like a, I don't know, $28 to $30 bottle of wine.
Yeah. So it hits like way above its price point.
Yeah,
I think
it's excellent. So the Valpolicella Ripasso.
Yeah, Ripasso.
Would you?
No.
Well, what do you rate it? 1 to 5.
What would you rate it?
I'd buy it again for $18.
Oh, for sure. I would buy either of these.
5 out of 5 for like would buy again.
Yeah, I would buy either of these again.
And then this one we said was 50, right?
50 on the nose.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is excellent. It's good to know. For me, it's helped a lot to understand years and vintages, especially if I'm out at a restaurant looking for something that I want. Yeah. It's nice to know, like, I like Pinot, I like this year, these years are good, so that's kind of what I go for, and I'm never let down by the process.
And there's always an exception to the rule. You can get a bottle that can also be corked. 1 in 10 tend to have a fault in them. Not in any wine. But in a wine store, I think it's helpful too. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, sure. I like picking these. These aren't wineries that are on the top 5 list, but they're still great wines.
Yes.
Yeah. So the only other thing I'll say about Amarone is because it's a higher alcohol content, it tends to be served a little bit chilled, above room temperature. It doesn't have to be. So usually if you're going to if it's room temperature, you put it in the fridge maybe 15-20 minutes and you're golden. Okay. That's the ideal serving temperature for an Amarone. Okay.
Let us know what you guys recommend if you have any Amarones that we should check out.
Or Ripassos.
Yeah, or anything we missed as far as details. Let us know. Cheers.
Cheers. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, please.